The defining cruelty of the grandparent scam is that it weaponizes the most sacred form of love, the bond between a grandparent and grandchild, to achieve instant financial theft. Okay, let's really dive into this, because what we're about to analyze isn't just a crime. It's a meticulously engineered psychological trap. It is designed with cold precision to turn a grandparent's greatest strength, their unconditional love, into their most profound and exploitable vulnerability.
In this quote, it just gets right to the heart of the whole operation. This is not some random act of deception. It's not a crime of opportunity. What this is a calculated, repeatable, and, frankly, a ruthlessly efficient system of emotional exploitation. The people behind this aren't just thieves. They are emotional hijackers. They have a script, they have a method, and they are targeting a very specific group for a very specific reason. Because that protective instinct a grandparent has, well, it's one of the most powerful and reliable forces in human nature. They don't just hope for it, they are counting on it. It's the entire engine of their scam.
So for the first part of our analysis, we're going to look at the environment where the scam just thrives. We're not talking about technology or bank accounts yet, no. We're looking at the emotional landscape itself. We're exploring exactly how that profound, unconditional love of a grandparent becomes the primary weapon in the scammer's arsenal.
Now this slide right here clarifies a really critical point. The success of this scam has absolutely nothing to do with intelligence or wisdom or how gullible someone is. It's about neurology. See, scammers are deliberately exploiting a known feature of the aging brain. It can be harder to process shocking, totally unexpected information when it arrives with a high-stakes, urgent demand. They're literally weaponizing a cognitive reality, creating this pressure cooker scenario that is almost impossible for anyone to process rationally in the moment.
And this shows you exactly how they do it. That call from the scammer, the sudden fabricated crisis, a car crash, an arrest in another country, it's specifically designed to completely bypass your rational brain. It is a targeted strike on the emotional brain, the limbic system. The goal? To trigger an immediate, overwhelming fight or flight response. Logic just goes offline. The question in the grandparent's mind isn't, is this story plausible? It instantly becomes, how do I save my grandchild right now?
And they have to act on that powerful impulse with incredible speed. The entire theft, from the first hello to the money being gone forever, is often completed in under half an hour. That speed is a crucial part of the design. It's an enforced time crunch engineered to prevent the single biggest threat to their operation, verification. There is no time to pause, no time to think, and definitely no time to make that one simple call to another family member that would expose the whole lie. The speed of the crime is a tool to maintain total control.
All right, let's move to our next section and see how this all builds. We're going to shift from the why it works to the how they do it. We're going to break down the mechanics of this scam step by step, analyzing it like investigators walking through a case file. This is a rapid-fire, high-pressure emotional hijack, and it has a very clear, repeatable structure.
The whole operation unfolds in 4 distinct stages. You can think of it like a 4-act play, all designed for maximum financial extraction. First, you have the impersonation, where the emotional hook gets set deep. Second, the crisis, where they induce overwhelming panic. Third is the handoff, where the pressure is escalated by an authority figure. And finally, the payment, where the untraceable theft happens. Let's walk through each one.
It almost always starts with this vague, kind of disorienting opening. The voice is often muffled or crying, the connection sounds bad, and that's all by design. Scammers use technology to spoof the caller ID, so it might even look like it's from a familiar number. They say, "Grandma, it's me," and then they go silent. They just wait. They're counting on the grandparent's instinct to help, to solve the puzzle. The grandparent says, "Michael, is that you?" And just like that, the scammer has a name.
So I want to pause here because this is the crucial moment. This is the instant where the victim, with the best of intentions, unknowingly becomes an accomplice in their own deception. The second they supply the grandchild's name, that's the first critical failure point in the defense. The scammer didn't need to know anything. The victim just handed them the key. From this point on, the scammer isn't some anonymous voice anymore. They are Michael. A trusted connection has been established using the victim's own mind against them.
Now, once the crisis is established, the car crash, the arrest, the manipulation takes this sharp, tactical turn. The grandchild makes a desperate plea. "Please, don't tell mom or dad. They'll be so mad at me. I'm so scared. I'm begging you." This demand for secrecy is the single most important tactical move the scammer makes. It's designed to do one thing: isolate the victim from their support system. It cuts them off from the one thing that could stop this scam in a heartbeat: a second opinion. It builds a cage of secrecy around the victim.
And to really escalate the pressure and the sense of legitimacy, the vast majority of these scams use a two-actor system. Actor number one, the grandchild, establishes that initial emotional connection and, crucially, secures the secrecy. Their job is to create panic and weaponize love. Then they hand the phone over to actor number two, who plays a cold, official authority figure, a lawyer, a bail bondsman, maybe a police officer. This second actor's job is to shift the whole interaction from an emotional plea to a formal, urgent, and non-negotiable financial demand.
And this handoff, this is the psychological choke point of the entire scam. Bringing in this second authoritative actor is designed to ramp up the urgency and completely overwhelm the victim's ability to think rationally. The conversation is no longer about a scared grandchild. Suddenly, it's about legal procedures, gag orders, bail money, and immediate, severe consequences. This authority figure sounds official, impatient, and totally in control of a situation the grandparent does not understand at all.
And finally, we get to the extraction. The lawyer or bondsman demands immediate payment, but never through a normal channel like a credit card. They will always ask for payment in forms that are fast, irreversible, and virtually untraceable. We're talking about buying thousands of dollars in gift cards and reading the numbers over the phone, sending a wire transfer, or, in the most brazen cases, having a courier come right to the victim's house to pick up a box of cash. Each method is chosen because once that money is sent, it is gone, forever.
Okay, let's move on. We've seen the mechanics of the heist, the step-by-step playbook. Now we're going to do a psychological deep dive to really understand why these tactics are just so devastatingly effective. This isn't just a trick. It's a precision attack on human cognition. We're going to look at the victim's mind while it's under siege.
This is the state the scammers are trying to create from the very first second of the call. It's called cognitive overload. The combination of a high-stakes family crisis, that intense time pressure, and the demand for absolute secrecy, it creates a perfect storm in the brain. The prefrontal cortex, the part that handles rational thought and decision-making, is effectively shut down by a flood of stress hormones, like cortisol and adrenaline. The brain is forced into a state of pure, immediate emotional compliance. It's not just that rational thought is difficult, it becomes neurologically inaccessible.
So the scammers are deploying a very specific set of psychological weapons to get to this state. First up is authority bias. They hijack the inherent authority a grandparent feels to protect their grandchild. Second is the panic response, which we just talked about, triggering a fight or flight state that short-circuits all logic. And third is the isolation effect. By demanding secrecy, they sever the victim's connection to anyone who could provide a reality check, which makes the scammer the one and only source of information.
And this is the final, just tragic psychological twist of the knife. In that state of cognitive overload, the scammer successfully reframes the entire transaction. The victim doesn't see sending thousands of dollars in gift cards as a financial loss. They see it as a mandatory, urgent act of family love. It's not about the money, it's about a rescue mission. It becomes the ultimate expression of their duty as a grandparent, a tangible act to save their family.
Okay, we have analyzed the system. We have dissected the psychology. Now we are going to pivot. The tone of this explainer is about to shift from analytical to operational. We're moving from understanding the attack to building the counter-operation. This section is all about the unbreakable defense. It's about empowerment, and it's about taking back control.
And that's the fundamental question, isn't it? If the very source of your strength, your love for your family, is being used as leverage, how can you possibly defend against it without becoming cynical or shutting down? The problem seems impossible, but the answer, thankfully, is actually pretty simple.
You fight a system with a system. You don't rely on instinct or emotion in the heat of the moment because we've already established that your instincts will be turned against you. Instead, you rely on a pre-planned, logical, and non-negotiable protocol. You create a firewall that an emotional appeal, no matter how desperate it sounds, just cannot get through.
The first part of your system is pattern recognition. You need to burn this sequence into your memory. A sudden family crisis, followed by a demand for total secrecy, followed by a request for some kind of weird, unconventional payment. Crisis, secrecy, unconventional payment. If you see these three things together in any combination, it is a scam, 100% of the time. There are no legitimate emergencies that operate this way. This is a non-negotiable red flag pattern, full stop.
And this slide right here contains the single most powerful tool you have to short-circuit this entire operation instantly. A family code word. This is a pre-established unique word or phrase that only your immediate family knows.
It should be something a scammer could never guess: a childhood pet's name, a favorite vacation spot, an old inside joke. And the crucial part is that last line: you must establish it now, proactively, before the crisis call ever comes. This is a conversation to have with your family tonight. And this is how you deploy it. This script is your tool of empowerment. You don't ask, you state. You say these words calmly and clearly. I am required to ask you the family code word now. If you can't provide it, I'm hanging up and calling your parent to verify your safety. This language does two incredibly powerful things. It immediately takes control back from the scammer, and it signals that you are operating under a pre-planned protocol, not raw emotion. The scammer will almost always hang up immediately. Their system is broken.
So let's end with this. This is the protective mantra that really encapsulates the entire defense system. The moment anyone asks you to keep a family emergency a secret, the system is compromised. The moment anyone in a position of authority asks for payment in gift cards or wire transfers or cash, the system is a fraud. Remember this, share it with everyone you love, and you will make your family immune to this devastating scam. Because real love is never a secret, and police don't accept gift cards.